ladies and gentlemen, Gary Moore.
Hi, how are you? Hello, Bill Wendell. Good to see you all. Welcome to the Tell the Truth. And I want to tell you, for the first spot in this show, we have got the humdinger of all time. Do you know where our first guest spent this entire last weekend? In Spring Hill, Florida. Doesn't grab you, huh? Well, let me go a little further. Our first guest not only spent the entire weekend in Spring Hill, Florida, but our first guest was at a chicken plucking contest. That's a little better, huh? I'll go one further. Not only was our first guest in Spring Hill, Florida at a chicken plucking contest, but our first guest was a judge at a chicken plucking contest in whatever that place was that I just said. Huh? And now that you're suitably thrilled, we will introduce our panel here on To Tell the Truth.
Nipsey Russell. Kitty Carlisle. Bill Cullen. And Peggy Cash.
Hasn't anybody been to Spring Hill, Florida? It's a great, great place.
I've heard that every week.
Metropolis of the Everglades or wherever it is. Now, let us meet at this moment, at this very moment, friends. Let us meet a judge at a chicken plucking contest. Soupy Sales! Wow,
now. Number one, what is your name, please?
My name is Bruno Zerato Jr.
Number two.
My name is Peggy Cass.
Number three.
My name is Soupy Sales.
Yeah, you might have known we were up in here. Your job, panel, is to find out which one of these folks really did go and spend a weekend in Florida judging a chicken plucking contest. Your choices are varied. Either it is our estimable producer of To Tell the Truth, Bruno Zerato Jr., or it is our Boston Belle, Miss Peggy Cass, or is it possible that Soupy Sales was nutty enough to participate in these goings-on? You think it over while I read you the details on this foul deed. It says, I, Bruno Zerato Jr., or I, Peggy Cass, or I, Soupy Sales, was a judge at the 4th Annual Chicken Plucking Championship. This feather pull is hotly contested between two teams of 4 ladies from Spring Hill and Town, Florida. For the second year in a row, the Town pluckers crowed in victory by stripping 12 white leghorns down to their pin feathers in the record-breaking time of 1 minute, 7 1/2 seconds. Before the main event, the crowd was entertained by the selection of Miss Drumstick, the Junior Chicken Plucking Contest, and a performance of the Chicken Concerto, a fowl chorale clucked to the strains of the William Tell Overture. The afternoon was capped by a death-defying attempt by an intrepid high school student to leap across a 4,000-foot lake in a pedal-powered sky cycle. Alas, it was all wishboneful thinking. The feather-winged bike soared only a paltry 12 feet before nose-diving into the water. Small wonder that the young man drove under the nom de plume of Evil Kachicken. Signed, Bruno Zerato Jr., or Peggy Cass, or Soupy Sales. You can tell that Spring Hill, Florida is the cultural center of the East.
Yes, sir.
We'll be back in just a moment to tackle this chicken delight.
You asked for it, and we got it. More matches than you can shake a blade at.
Show us your garter belt.
A full throttle 3-hour block of Match Game, Match Game, Match Game. Weekdays at 5 on BUZZR. Let's play.
anyone has told you that gaining weight, feeling tired, and joint issues is just a part of getting older, they are wrong. My name is Dr. Stephen Gundry, and I found a new way to support my health. It's called BioComplete 3. BioComplete 3 works by restoring your gut health from the inside out. This is working for everybody.
I was 270. I'm now 140. It just feels amazing.
You can try BioComplete 3 risk-free for 90 days. Go to guthealthsecret.com.
You have a box of videotapes, film reels, or photos that are degrading? Legacy Box professionally converts them to DVDs, thumb drive, or the cloud. Legacy Box is simple and safe, with over 1 million satisfied customers. Visit legacybox.com today and get 50% off.
That happens a lot, but SafeLight could have helped. So don't let that little chip spoil your trip.
SafeLight repair, SafeLight replace.
I doubt if you could possibly have forgotten that across the way from us we have a very motley-looking trio, all of them claiming to have spent the weekend in Florida judging a chicken plucking contest. And let remind you again of your choices. It's either our producer Bruno Zerato, or it's our regular To Tell the Truth panelist, Miss Peggy Cass, or could it possibly be the shining light from What's My Line, Mr. Soupy Sales? Nipsey Russell, you want to try this on for size?
Yeah, and after, I think they should all go down to the nut house and surrender. Number one, what's the difference between chicken plucking and chicken flicking?
Well, chicken plucking is done to wasp chickens, and chicken flicking is not.
Number three, what do you get if you cross a chicken with a parrot?
You get a bad look, a dirty look from the parrot.
Number two, when you pluck or flick a chicken, do you then singe the smaller parts of the stubs of the feathers?
Well, as a cook, I know that you do, but they didn't do that in the chicken plucking contest. They just stripped the chicken clean down to the pin feathers. They didn't have to take out the pin feathers.
Going back to number three, when you pluck a duck?
That's a different city and a different event. This is plucking chicken.
Number one, what did Miss Drumstick do for entertainment?
Oh, dear, we got a buzz on that, Mr. Serrato, which means that we go on to Miss Carlisle.
Number two, Miss Cass. How did you get so lucky as to be invited to this contest?
I don't know. They just called me up and asked me if I wanted to go, and there was a small honorarium or whatever you call it. They paid my fare, and I brought a friend. So I went.
Number three, what did Miss Drumstick do to entertain the crowd?
Well, Miss Drumstick, she did a number on this as well, to the tune of Anvil Chorus, of a special lyrics of like, the moon was yellow and I was a little chicken myself, something like that.
Number one, when you went down to this, you are a producer, Mr. Zerato.
Yes.
Did you have anything to do with the arrangements like Evil Chicken and Miss Drumstick?
No, I was just down there as a judge for Miss Drumstick and the chicken plucking contest.
And number three, what was the trophy?
The trophy was it's like a sterling, it's a cup that they give.
In the shape of a chicken?
No, no, an egg. No, it was just a cup. It was just a cup.
Number two, when Evil Chicken,
I think you're gonna have to join them. Go sit over there.
When Evil Chicken made this glorious leap, what would have happened if he'd fallen in the lake?
He did.
Oh, he did fall.
He did fall in the lake.
Oh, well.
I don't believe this whole thing. We're going to the last member of our third person panel, Bill Cullen.
People all over the country are tuning in saying they get paid for that. Number three, Mr. Sales Judge, sir, were you paid for this performance?
No, expenses, you know.
Just expenses. Yeah. And Peggy, number two, you claim that that's what you got too, just a small honorarium?
Yeah, that's it, a little. Not much.
Oh, yeah. Mr. Zerato, producer that you are, what do you get being a producer when you cross a chicken with a parrot?
I haven't the vaguest idea, but it was my birthday, and they sent me down there to do this.
And were you asked by the powers that be in the corporation that produces these magnificent shows to go down there under threat of instant dismissal, number one?
No, I asked myself. They called me and said, "You want to go down?" And I said, "Sure."
Oh, we've been able to talk him into anything for years, haven't we? Number two, do you go along with Soupy's about a chicken crossed with a parrot?
No.
What do
No,
you
but
think?
They don't cross chickens with parrots. At least they don't do it.
They did once in
They do,
Pittsburgh,
yeah.
yes.
No,
yes.
well, they don't do it.
They do it. And when a
They
chicken's...
don't do it in Spring Hill, Florida.
Oh, well,
kid.
you know, Pittsburgh's a big time.
Yeah,
When
they do it, and you get a bird that lays the eggs and then shouts, "Come and get 'em!"
We got ourselves a little thing down there. And friends, you're going to have to vote and cast a ballot and make an enemy or make a friend out of 3 old friends. It's either number 1, Mr. Serrato, or 2, Miss Cass, or 3, Mr. Sales. And we're going to adhere to the rules. We'll pay them $50 for each wrong vote, and we'll pay them $500 if we stump the whole 3-person panel over here. And Nipsey, you start.
The rooster's the king of the barnyard, his pride is understood. But no matter how loudly a rooster may crow, it's the hen who delivers the goods. Number 2.
You think it was Mary Margaret who went down there? Mary Margaret Cass went down there? Well, let's find out who Kitty thinks it is.
Well, Mr. Serrato is more of an opera fan than a chicken plucking fan. Miss Cass is a classy lady. Soupy, no offense, man, but I think you're crazy enough to go down there.
No doubt.
He might even commute from there to come up and do this, you know. And Bill, who are you going to go for?
I've looked at it all, Gary, in a very practical way. It's known throughout the trade that Peggy or Soupy will do anything for a buck. I mean, that's well known. But you take Spring Hill, Florida. Now, they ain't got a big budget when they have a thing, right? Now, Spring Hill, Florida couldn't afford anyone of higher stature than a producer. And for that,
by casting your vote for our producer, you may have saved your job. By what you said afterwards, you blew the whole thing. Next week, Alan Alda. The votes are all in. Will the real judge of the chicken plucking contest please stand up?
Soupy. It's Soupy. Nobody but Soupy.
It's gotta be
Bruno Serrato.
Oh, you
Well, why not Bruno? You know, he produces 5 turkeys a week. By the way, for those of you who are skeptical and don't really believe that Bruno Serrato Jr. went all the way to Florida just to judge a chicken chuck contest.
Yeah, flick it.
We have a picture of Bruno right here. He's with the captain of the winning team and 2 plucked chickens. And that will authenticate the whole thing. They're a very good-looking quartet, all 4 of them. And I want to thank...
One with the dark glasses is Bruno.
Yeah. I want to thank you, Mr. Serrato. Will you go back to your cage, please? Miss Cash, will you come back?
Oh, I'm
We miss
so
you
mad.
over here.
Do you know that he cost me $500?
Soupy, we cannot thank you enough for taking time out of your busy life. Soupy Sales. Say, friends, have you ever wondered exactly what happens to the money that you so generously dig down and give to charities? Our next guest has very carefully researched the charities of this country, and he has some very interesting and challenging things to say about them. So don't miss it.
I have PCOS. It can cause unexplainable weight gain. Having to go through Weight Watchers Clinic and now taking a GLP-1, you just feel that extra level of support. And I'm like 2 pounds away from my goal weight, which is like...
Take a pea-sized amount. Apply it like a lotion. Pits, under boob, thigh folds, butt cracks, feet. This water-based cream, I'm telling you, it's invisible on the skin. It works like a dream. Why didn't someone think of this sooner?
Whoa, now that's a smooth shave. You might think these guys had to pay top dollar for a shave that smooth, but they just used Harry's. With 5 blades that stay sharp, shave after shave, a lubricating strip with aloe, a flex hinge, and a trimmer blade, it's hard to believe refills start at just $2, half of what the other guys charge. Shaving with Harry's isn't pricey. It's just very, very, very smooth. Wake up to Harry's. Get your trial set for just $7 at harrys.com/smooth.
Dangerous ladders? Gutter muck? Ugh, no wonder you hate cleaning your gutters. Good thing there's Leaf Filter. Our patented filter technology keeps leaves and debris out of your gutters forever. Guaranteed. Call 833-LEAF-FILTER to get started and get the permanent gutter solution that ends clogs for good.
They took the time to answer all of our questions. They really put us at ease.
End clogged gutters for good. Call 833-LEAF-FILTER or visit leaffilter.com today.
Now let us meet a gentleman who has checked into charities.
Number 1, what is your name, please?
My name is Harvey Katz.
Number 2.
My name is Harvey Katz.
Number 3.
My name is Harvey Katz.
And here is the not entirely charitable message of Harvey Katz. He says, I, Harvey Katz, have written a book entitled Give, Who Gets Your Charity Dollar? It's a study of the $55 million a day that the American people give to charity. We are the most generous nation in the world with charity, and in my book I examine the fruits of this generosity. Charitable solicitations all depend upon public support, but too often the records are not open to public scrutiny. As a result, the organizations run the full gamut from the well-run, well-managed charity all the way down to the outright crooked ones. In my book, I give guidelines on how to judge charitable organizations, and I even give a partial list of specific charities with pertinent facts and figures. A contributor should always try to give to a charity set up with needy people on one side, generous people on the other, and a lot of dedication, sacrifice, and hard work in the middle. Signed, Harvey Katz. And we'll turn this over to a lady who does a lot of work for a great number of charities, Kitty Carlisle.
Thank you. Number 1, are you prepared to say what charity, what national charity gives the most money to administration and the least money to the charity?
I can't tell you the one that gives the most to, but I can name a couple that do very well with the amounts.
Go ahead.
CARE is perhaps one of the best charities for the amount of money given to and the amount of money used for. The Heart Association,
Thank you.
Cancer.
Thank you. Number 2, does the Attorney General of the State of New York administer this kind of thing, organized charities?
It's not administered, unfortunately. What I try and bring out in my book is that we do need more stringent rules on monitoring charitable institutions.
Thank you. Number 3, how many charitable institutions every year, new ones, are licensed in the State of New York?
I have no idea.
Number 2, do you know that there's a bureau in the city of New York that monitors charitable organizations?
I was not aware of that.
Number 1.
Thank you, Kitty. Let's go to Bill Cullen, please.
Number 3, am I correct then in assuming that there is no regulation, overall single-source regulation for charitable institutions?
Well, a lot of people assume, you're talking about nationally?
Uh-huh.
A lot of people assume that the Internal Revenue does, but as I point out in the book, I think they do a shoddy job of protecting the public.
Number 1, there must be some protection for the public and the needy in this case. You mentioned three levels, the needy, the generous, and in the middle, dedication, sacrifice, and hard work. Do you maintain that that should be done free, that work, or that it should be done for a fair salary?
No, anyone who goes into social service should be compensated. Unfortunately, too many people decide what they should be given, and it far exceeds what one would do in charity.
Number 2, I won't ask for specifics, but in your book, do you mention, for instance, charitable fundraising organizations where the executives and the people who work there are overpaid in your estimation?
Yes, I do.
What, for instance?
Oh my, I don't know what you're going for, but a buzzer came and we're going to Peggy.
Well, number 3, a nonprofit institution means they don't make any money, but they don't have to make any money if they take it all in salaries, right?
Well, a nonprofit institution means that there is no profit made in the organization.
But the thing is, but the head of the organization get $150,000 a year still, right?
Well, in some very few cases, that's a little high, but I feel that some organizations do pay their executives a little too much.
Thank you. Now, number 1, you know the ladies that are in front of the theaters with the tin cans and they're always yelling for something? Do they keep that can themselves or do they give it to somebody? What do you think?
The Salvation Army, no, that's a good organization.
Oh, no, I love the Salvation Army. Now, for instance, number 2, if you give to something like, say, it's the Jesuit Medical Missions, there is no overhead there, right?
I don't know about that particular charity, but a good charity would be one that's effective, would have low overhead and fundraising expenses.
Well, then, number 3, aren't there some charities that have no overhead?
I'm sorry, Peg, we're going to go down to Ipsy.
Number 1, a very visible and obvious charitable enterprise is the telethon. Now, I know the stations and networks taking bows in that instance. Do they give that time, or is that time paid for?
No, the network gives the time.
Gives the time?
The production costs are paid for by the charity.
All right. Number 2, are the musicians and the technicians who perform on telethons paid?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Number 3, would you know the answer to that question?
In most cases, they aren't paid, but I think there is a contribution made to the equity fund by the organization.
All right, number 1 again, what part of the average core of people soliciting money are salaried workers or staff workers, and what part are volunteers?
Well, that depends with the organization. As I mentioned, in CARE, a very small portion of the people are paid, and that's why the organization...
Okay, let me interrupt you. To what purpose does March of Dimes now give its money?
The March of Dimes is for birth defects now.
I see.
Okay, good questions, and you should have learned something, and I'm sure you did. So on that, mark your ballots and mark them for number 1, or for number 2, or for number 3.
This is not a radish. Looks very much like my car. You can tell with the little lipstick.
Alex Trebek explains it all for you on Classic Concentration. Weekdays starting at 1.
Washer's all washed up. I love it.
AC went kaput? That's cool.
With a home warranty from American Home Shield, every day is a good day for a breakdown. You don't have to worry about the day when something stops working or expensive repairs. Because when surprise breakdowns happen, AHS will be there to fix or replace parts of the systems and appliances you rely on every day. They help protect your time and money by connecting you with qualified pros and helping pay for covered repairs or replacements. AHS offers affordable plans for every home and options to tailor your coverage so it's just right. With more than 50 years of experience, they know how to keep you smiling when things don't go as planned. It feels good to be right when things go wrong. Get the protection you need with American Home Shield. Sign up today and get $100 off any plan with code AHS100. Visit AHS.com or call 833-PLAN-AHS for this special offer.
Are you or someone you love struggling with an addiction to drugs or alcohol and want to be set free from the chains of addiction? Then call Addiction Helpline America right now to get the help you need. From drug and alcohol addiction to dual diagnosis treatment, we provide a confidential helpline to help people like you get sober and live happy, substance-free lives. With one call, you can be on the phone with addiction specialists across the country who will guide you on the next steps to find the freedom and healing you desperately need.
I believe has made up her mind, and I'd like to know who and why.
Well, they are all terribly good, and they all didn't know an awful lot because there are about 1,500 organizations in the state of New York that are licensed every year, new ones. And so I voted for number 2.
So we've got a 2 showing, and we go to Bill Cullen.
I think a book is a good idea in the sense that if you're going to give away sums of money, it would be a good idea to know how much of your dollar gets to where it was intended to go. That was just sort of a plug for the whole thing. I voted for number 2 also.
All right, a pair of 2s, and Peggy?
I don't trust many of those charities. I mean, I saw a house once that belonged to a fellow who's the head of a big charity. I couldn't get over it. I couldn't even work there as a second parliament. It was so grand. I voted for 2.
We're going all out on a long, long limb. And Nipsey Russell, are you going to join the bunch?
Well, really, where charities are concerned, I just find one guy that I know is hungry and I feed him. But I voted for number 1 because of the zeal that he seemed to have about the whole thing.
All right, and so we've got a 1 showing, and we got 3 2s, and the votes are all in. Will the real Harvey Katz please stand up?
Up to the
Good job, guys. Great. Great team over there. All right. There we go. Let's find out who we all are. Number 1, sir, what is your real name, please, and what do you do?
I'm Richard Fishman. I'm a sculptor, and I exhibit at the Max Hutchinson Gallery in New York.
Number 2, sir, tell us about you.
My name is Roland Kriegel, and I'm a consulting engineer from Ridgewood, New Jersey.
Mr. Katz, I know that it's probably impossible to say how much out of $100 that a charity collects should end up where it was meant to go. But what is, on a good charity, what percentage goes?
Well, the good ones, like cancer and heart, are down to 10%. United Way is very low, and it's really unfair to impose an arbitrary standard. Comparing those to, say, an organization that's fighting venereal disease, which does not have as popular a cause, arbitrarily, which is a very serious health problem. No. But arbitrarily, I feel that if less than 50% of what I give to any group does not go to a really effective cause, then I'd rather not support it.
So 50% you would pick as a personal
That's just
thing.
very arbitrary.
Yeah.
But
thank you very much, Mr. Katz, and thank you, gentlemen. Take care.
Are you suffering from pain? There is one product that millions of people have trusted to relieve pain for over 17 years, Omega XL.
My back pain was so severe that I couldn't take the pain anymore. I would cry, it was so bad.
Hello, my name is Ken Mears. I'm the founder of Great Healthworks, the makers of Omega XL. Those of you who are searching to address your aches and pains and your soreness, Omega XL is for you. It is derived from a green-lip mussel from the pristine waters of New Zealand. We believe there is no other product like it in the world. It's truly one of a kind. The meat that comes from the green-lip mussel has an oil extract. That oil is one of the most powerful natural anti-inflammatories and is full of over 30 fatty acids.
This combination of fatty acids is not found anywhere else in any other product other than Omega XL. And it has been shown in clinical research to help with joint pain due to inflammation, which affects so many of us.
I had a lot of joint pains, and that slowed me down. I was worried that I would miss out on a lot in my life.
I have lived with pain in both of my knees for many years. Getting out of bed was difficult.
The pain of the knees restricted my abilities to do things that I used to do.
Really felt the pain. I mean, in my ankles and in my heels. I can't tell you how bad that pain was. I mean, it was so excruciating. And I started taking it. I mean, I can't tell you how great I feel. I mean, this works.
Since I've been taking Omega XL, I noticed a huge difference in the way my fingers are. Thank you, Omega XL, for making my days so much more enjoyable.
I'm walking again, and it feels so good. I just love Omega XL.
I feel like this is a miracle for me in my life. I was in a lot of pain.
You don't need to live in pain. Inflammation is controllable, it can be managed, and it's fixable. Give Omega XL a chance.
The moment I started using Omega XL, there was such a change and such a difference. I started noticing that I could go up and down the stairs, which I thought that I couldn't do anymore. I'm so relieved to have the Omega XL in my life.
Because I'm taking Omega XL, it allows me to live life to the fullest.
Omega XL has given me an opportunity to get my life back. Why not try it? It can only help you.
Omega XL is for you. Give it a chance. Give it time. It's one of a kind.
Call now or go to OmegaXLDirect.com to take advantage of our new offer. When you buy one bottle of Omega XL, get one free. That's 2 bottles for only $39.95. And as a gift, we'll include a bottle of Vitamin XL D3 for whole body health, absolutely free with your first order.
I know that Omega XL works because it worked for me.
Order now to get the new offer, 2 bottles of Omega XL plus Vitamin XL D3 for only $39.95.
Let us emphasize that last spot does not discourage you from contributing to charity. It only says that you should investigate and know where your money is go. You should give and you must. Thank you. Take care.
This is Bill Wendell speaking for To Tell the Truth, a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production.
I'm gonna try.